Okay, we now have public comment. I think everybody knows at home we have 5 minutes. And whenever you speak, we'd like for you to, well, we have a TV out here today, that's fine. I guess just stand up by your seat and speak loud so where everybody can hear. We usually have you stand over here and speak to everybody, but we're not going to run him out today. Not yet. Okay. Tina, where are you at? You wish to speak?
I do.
Go ahead.
First, I would like to thank the commissioners for allowing us to voice our opinions. This is a great thing for our county, and I hope it will continue. And I have these handouts I would like to give to you on exemptions for hydraulic fracturing under United States federal law. I hope that as you read them, you will ask yourselves, why is there one set of rules for the industry, another set for the citizens? And I would also, while you're reading them, like you to ask yourselves if this practice of extraction is so safe as the industry insists, then why are they exempt from these important laws? And what the ramifications are if something catastrophic happens in our community. And who writes the articles for the newspaper? I'd like to give them a copy of this so they can get it right. The last time they said I asked about zoning, which I never did.
Carry on.
I wanted to tag on to Luann Fattora's letter that she wrote, and here are some pictures I want to pass around that you guys can look at. The first one is a picture of the Denny Powell site where the well was, and you can see where the tank is and where the frac pit is. This is a picture of the creek downstream from that site. Here's another picture of the creek downstream from that site. Here's some pictures of some of the animals that were affected. This is all upstream from the the West Union water supply. There was a letter that the mayor at the time wrote to the Office of Environmental Health and Services, and I would like to read that. This was all reference to that. It's dated October 28th, 2009. Dear Ms. Taylor, on or about August 24th, the West Virginia DEP was notified that a quantity of oil mixed with well fracking fluid was spilled or leaked into Buckeye Run, Doddridge County. Buckeye Run is a tributary of Middle Island Creek, our only water source, and only about 2 miles upstream from our intake. On October 22nd, 2009, the Clarksburg Exponent ran a front page above the full story about the process and the cleanup effort. The following morning, at 9:26, October 23rd, 2009, the town of West Union found out about this spill almost 2 full months after the fact. On October 23rd, 2009, at 9:29, a town employee called Mr. Walt Ivy of your office inquiring as to why the health department had failed to contact us about the possible contamination. Mr. Ivy immediately gave Mr. Bill Toomey and Mr. Scott Roadheaver on the call, and the town explained the situation to them. Your personnel has never been made aware of the situation and seemed as genuinely concerned as we were about the situation. Mr. Ivy was kind enough to supply us with names and phone numbers for the Department of Environmental Protection to call and try to gain more information. Our quest for information from the DEP is ongoing as we wait requested test data. The DEP believes there is no cause for alarm as they assert the substance never left the containment area. The containment area is in the floodplain. They cannot pinpoint the time, date, nor the origin of the spill, but insist that nothing left the containment area. We do not mean to imply the DEP is being untruthful in this matter, but we were denied knowledge of the spill and therefore unable to test on our own. We experienced operational difficulties we believe may be tied, at least in part, to the spill. Unfortunately, we cannot prove nor disprove as we were never notified. This brings me to the most troubling part of this story. The town of West Union believed that there was a system in place to notify water systems of spills that occur within the watershed they use. In checking with others, we have confirmed that this is a widely held opinion. Obviously, this is either untrue or the system failed miserably. In my opinion, the notification system does not exist. I say this because on October 27, 2009, the town contacted the West Virginia Spill Control Hotline. Mr. Gary Light answered the phone. He provided us with the time and date the spill was called in, October 25th or August 25th, 2009, at 8 a.m., and that it was assigned a case number. We inquired as to his procedures to notify water systems. He explained the hotline's responsibility is to notify the DEP, not the water system. In our talks with Mr. Belcher and Mr. Martin of Oil and Gas Division of the DEP, we were informed that they do not have information as to which exact water systems use each body of surface water, let alone the emergency contacts for them. In defense of the Oil and Gas Division, we do not believe it is their responsibility to do this either. I believe we have stumbled into a gaping hole in the emergency notification system. Additionally, I believe the water system should be notified as soon as spill notification is received. Water systems must be notified so that they can take their own internal actions to protect themselves and their customers. The state of West Union is leaving water systems wide open for future legal action by leaving them uninformed on these most urgent issues. Additionally, layers between receipt of initial notification and notification of the water systems will only result in less time for water systems to react due to the lack of being notified. It's my opinion that West Union can ill afford to sit back and wait until the next time to fix a problem. I respectfully ask the director of the West Virginia, I think the health office, immediately address the problem, and this was signed by Robert Fetty, who at that point in time was the mayor in West Union. I have had some personal experience with this because in December, when the tanker went into Mead House 4, someone notified me. I ended up calling and notifying the guy that's the head of the water plant. He didn't know who I was. He wasn't really trusting me for what I was saying, but when he checked, he hadn't been notified by the DEP or anyone. And yet we have had this well site not been drilled in the floodplain, that incident wouldn't have occurred. But the mere fact that it takes so long, we have other situations. And Antero, that was an Antero well site, okay? So I firmly believe that whatever we decide, or whatever the county commission decides as far as the floodplain ordinance, real caution needs to be taken. And in 2009, we did not have the drilling activity in this county that we have now. So the incidence of more pollution or more stuff ending up in our water really, has great potential of harm, not just to the people in West Union, but to county residents that rely on well water. At least, it's... Thanks for listening.
Thank you. You want to go? I know you want to get moved.
You want me to do mine now?
No,
Okay.
no. We'll move that in just a minute. Okay? Annette?
No, I have nothing. I thought that was just the same.
Okay, that's all right. Doug?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Earlene Foster? Sheila? Jody?
I am new to all of this, and basically, my name is Jody Moore, and probably the best thing for me to do is to tell you how I came to Douglas County. For over 10 years, I lived in Kanawha County, and lived along a beautiful stream, Elk River, if anybody's familiar, one of the prettiest streams in West Virginia. Used to shimmy down the bank of a big shimmy. There's a bridge there. When my daughter was 8 years old, we'd shimmy down the creek on a Saturday afternoon and go fishing in the Elk River. There came a time in 2003 where I had an offer I couldn't refuse. How many of us have had that offer you couldn't refuse? Great job. Had to buy a house. It was a big relocation. So I started looking. If anybody remembers, in March of 2003, I believe it was, we had a huge snowstorm. Huge. Where the governor shut down the roads. I ended up living in a hotel in Bridgeport for 3 weeks because I couldn't close on my house. The house I decided on, and the house I chose, and the house I still live in, even though I'm no longer at the job that brought me here, is in Doddridge County. It's a beautiful little log home, 3 acres of land. Got it for a heck of a price because the Melitas treatment plant is in my backyard. None of us can have septic because we live on bedrock. You can't have a septic system. So we all pipe in to this treatment pond. Doesn't stink, doesn't cause a problem. We have geese come in the spring. It's regulated by the West Virginia DEP. My lender really strongly suggested I get flood insurance. Said I was in the floodplain. Did some research, found out the previous owner that I was buying from didn't have flood insurance. And by golly, I wasn't getting her either. And they agreed with me, didn't get the flood insurance. After that big snow, finally got moved in 3 weeks later. Found a neighbor, gracious Doddridge County resident, plowed me a garden. I was gonna farm. I was so excited. I had potatoes and I had corn and I had stuff in there. We had a huge rain. And following that big snow, the ground was saturated. Guess what happened?
No garden.
No garden. Flooded. I'm almost 100 yards from Buckeye Creek that runs behind my house. It came right up to my deck. Didn't get in my house, but I had frogs swimming toward me. Lost my garden. That was in 2003. It's never happened again. Never happened again. My neighbor Pearl, who has since passed away, was not as fortunate. She's less than 100 yards from me. She lost her car. She lost everything in her basement. She had to do abatement for the mold that set up in her home. And like I said, she's since passed, and somebody else has bought her property and moved in. They got a heck of a price too. Now right out the front door, their view is the Carl Smith Pipe Yard. Half mile up the road from me, half mile, is Antero number 340. There is no early warning system. I'm not a crier. I am not a crier. I'm not a weak woman. I cry when I'm angry. There is no early warning system when I get up in the morning that says don't make coffee. Don't take a shower. If there was, I'd invest in it. I'm in the process now, working with downstream strategies to get my well water tested so I have documentation of where I'm at. Where I'm at. We don't know. I so applaud the opportunity that the Doddridge County Commission is taking to seriously look at the potential ramifications of drilling in the floodplain. You know, I thought I wasn't in the floodplain, although I probably knew I was. I lost a garden. That's all I lost. The potential loss to our watershed, to the animals and creatures that are dependent on our streams and rivers, the muskie that are known to spawn in Middle Island Creek. I mean, it's a sportsman's paradise. And it all flows to the Ohio and everybody downstream. It's unconscionable to me. It's unconscionable that we would even consider allowing drilling in our floodplain. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Welling. Okay. Alyssa? Alyssa. Right. Alyssa, right. Betty Robson. Jill Chris. Pat Heath. Joyce B. Phil Posey. Mary Jane Tabor.
Nothing.
Amy Beamer. Linda Urbalina.
Yes. First of all, Jody, let me warn you, we haven't had a really severe flood in around Doddridge County for some time now, but you're in for a real surprise when we do. Secondly, I would like to ask why and can the county commissioners demand that the gas companies pay a percentage of their profits to set up a super fund for Doddridge County to build a state-of-the-art water processing plant to process water from the water pipeline the gas companies brought to Doddridge County from the Ohio River. This way, all Doddridge County citizens could be provided clean and safe drinking water if there was ever, if our water was ever compromised, and at no expense to Doddridge County citizens. That's my question.
Can I address that?
Yes.
I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, but I would imagine that falls under the same category as taxes. And I know that here in Doddridge County, we can't assess a particular tax unless it is approved by the legislature at the state level. And then they give us the right. And I know that because as an accountant and tax preparer, in the past, counties or towns could not assess a sales tax. But about 2 or 3 years ago, the state legislature passed the law that towns and counties can assess a sales tax, but it's administered by the state, and it's collected by the state and then remitted back. And currently, I think there's only two cities in the state that are assessing that. I know that Huntington is one, and I think Williamstown is the other. But in response to that, I have talked with our legislators, and this kind of addresses an issue that has been brought up at various times. I would like to see a severance tax on Marcellus that would come back to the counties. Marcellus production. I've voiced that to representatives, and the one issue was, well, let me back up. My reasoning was for just limiting it to Marcellus was that most of the Marcellus drillers are out-of-state drillers, and you have a lot of local oil and gas companies that would be impacted if we applied it to everybody.
I agree with that.
And so that was my comment when we were down in Charleston in February. I brought this issue up, and the people that I was talking to indicated that it might not be able to be just directed towards Marcellus. It might have to be everything. But then I was also told that, once again, it has to be passed by the legislature then allows us to address that issue. So, that, I am still pursuing that because I would like to see it occur.
Okay. Because I would think our county has a right to protect its people, and if we lose our water, we deserve to have, and if it's the cause of Marcellus Drilling, I don't know why you can't single that out. Could we ask our lawyer that question and see whether, it would be possible to do something like this?
I can look into it, but it sounds like Greg's done a good job researching this issue already, but I'll look into it.
I mean, we should be able to, protect our water source, or at least get something supplied for us if we do lose it. This is a serious thing. It's been going on all over the United States at these different...
I think, personally, that we, as the county commission, should pursue to see if there was ever any response to the mayor's questions and letters, and if not, then we, as the county commission, could ask the applicable state departments why nothing was done.
Thank you.
If it was not done.
Okay, thank you for making that clear. And I agree, I appreciate you all for going to the extra length to try to settle that. This is this whole floodplain thing is such an important issue that I really appreciate you guys putting in the effort that you have. We do appreciate it.
May I make input on her statements? I believe that the PSD, attended the meeting the other night. I believe the PSD is trying to work out something with the oil and gas industry that's bringing the line in to hook to it in the future.
Pardon?
The PSD
Yes.
is working with the industry that's bringing the line, the
Bring
water
the water
line. Yeah, bringing the line in. Yeah, from the Ohio to see if they can hook to it in some way.
I wondered if that might not be
Yeah.
possible.
But I also think that we need a good processing plant to clean that water, and be able to make it available to everybody in this county.
You need to get
Good, yeah.
At the last regular commission meeting, I asked you about looking into the home rule laws that they instituted in the state, which allows communities to decide on their own how to raise revenue. Did anybody check into that? I think you have to apply to get in. I'm not sure what all the rules are, but I know they expanded it this year.
I think, and you check into it,
Yeah, I mean, they just passed it for a number of new communities this past legislative session.
right? And
I
I
haven't seen a county do that rules all.
Right. It's cities.
Monroe County,
Monroe County?
yes.
Okay.
But I think the legislature, once again, has to approve the areas, and then, I don't know if it was because of requests or how they came about. I'm not aware. Most of them are larger or more populated areas. I'm aware of that.
Kay Hudson,
No.
Randy Quinn, Chris Arnold.
I have something to say. I live out on Central Station Road, and right now, they're blacktopping it. Okay, we sat for over an hour yesterday waiting, but that's not what the problem is. They left last night, and they've got patches, where they stopped working. I guess, when they patched they asphalted some of the road in the fall, and they did it, they asphalted it, then they left it, then they asphalted. So what they're doing is they came back and they're asphalting the road that they didn't asphalt last fall. But what they've done last night when they left, they've got, where they asphalted, they just stopped, okay? So you got this raise right there in the road. And like yesterday, when a car went by, I thought somebody threw something on my porch. And how many yards are we from the road? About 125 yards from the road. And it sounded like somebody, like UPS or somebody came and dropped a box on the porch. Okay, this morning when I was out there, I was listening to it and I was thinking, there's no sign there that says bumps, and there's, I don't know how many of these raised areas there are on the road today. They weren't out there at 8:30 this morning, so I don't know if they're even working today, but there is no sign that says bump. If somebody on a motorcycle goes by and hits that, they're gonna go flying. You know, I mean, there should be a sign there that says bump, and there aren't. And that's a danger, and that's, Trenton is doing it. Trenton is doing the asphalt.
Trenton?
Yeah.
Well, I know that we have a meeting on Friday morning with oil and gas industry representatives supposed to be there, Department of Highways, and that will be, we can bring that to the attention of the Department of Highways. I would think that they would want to.
I'll call Mr. Lopez today. When we take a break,
That's a danger.
I'll let him know about it. Okay.
Is that a public meeting on Friday?
I don't know that it's public. It's coordinated by Kurt Connor, the EDA.
I do know, and I'll give you guys this road issue, whenever they're doing stuff like that, they're supposed to do it up to the standards of the Department of Highways. And whatever company's doing it, I mean, Mr. Lopez has been incredibly helpful to other residents. And the reason they're doing this is because they're pulling those tanker trucks out of there on a daily basis, right, the propane and stuff from the extraction.
I think that 2 wells went up on there.
Terry Arnold?